gentlemen, welcome to the table for three.
Hello.
I think we've been put together because we're all kings of the ring or former kings of the ring, so I don't know, let's talk about our experiences as the king of the ring. We'll start off with you, Sheamus. I know you had a particularly glorious run as the king of the ring. You were a real hot streak.
It was one of the highlights of my career. It was, when I was sitting there in the chair after winning a illustrious tournament with a Burger King crown on my lap and a giant red cape.
Now, I think.
Looked like something out of the Bed Knobs and Broomsticks or something from Disney. I decided right there and then I was literally going to change this outfit. I knew it was going to be a great opportunity to do something different. So I got this really cool crown that looked like something out of Lord of the Rings, and I got this emerald green cape and the blackthorn walking stick. I made it my own, you know, just like you are as the Cosmic King.
Just out of curiosity, what point did you realize that outfit you came up with was a really, really bad idea?
Probably.
As soon as you watch
Can I just,
back, right?
before we go any further, can I just say, we may be the three worst King of the Rings of all time.
That's probably right.
I mean, this is probably why they put us together, to mock at us. Right?
I didn't win a match. I didn't win a match.
I haven't won a match so far either. What about you? Did you win any?
Well, I wasn't really wrestling at the time. I was the GM, so
you turned the lights off.
I became the most powerful entity in the WWE, and it all went to my head a bit, and I got suspended, and I was gone forever. I've never been the same since.
But you, in fairness though, like you never wore the cape. You never.
No,
I
didn't. I had nothing to do with any of that because it hadn't been done for a while, and I thought I like the idea of the throne, and then. So it was more of a different concept to go into, and I was trying to get into a real dark place with it because I'd done a lot of the comedy stuff, and he was trying to get into a dark place, but I didn't want, you know, I can't help it, right? If you put a crown on me, it's going to be funny, right? Because I got a funny face, right?
Just put a crown on anyone. Come on.
Well, yeah, but I mean, so that was the whole concept. It was just an idea to put more, to make this most powerful entity thing, even and to just ram it down people's throats. But it was like a real dark character, you know, the actual mindset I had, so there was no, whereas you fellas are sort of back to the old kind of King of the Ring.
We dove head first into that. We brought it right back to its roots.
Yeah, well, most of my career was entertaining, so back at that, in the WWE anyway, so back in a few years before that, if I'd have made the most out of the crown and made a lot of fun out of it.
The busty wench, right? You were the busty wench.
Yeah, I've dragged up a few times on this show. No, I'm good at it.
You did look pretty hot, though, as a busty wench.
Yeah. Oh, I do.
You did.
I do. That was actually funny when I had to drag up that time. They said, we're in Vegas, and it was an idea to do that. It was the spin the wheel thing, because you know what a classic that is every year, right? Yeah. The spin the wheel thing.
Spin the wheel makes the deal.
The idea come up, you getting dragged up, you know, please. No, a lot of people, I think a lot of people don't get that. They ask me to do stuff because I love doing comedy, right? That's what I do. Wrestling and comedy is the two things I grew up wanting to do. So, yes, but if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. I want the full Vegas show, girl. I want the thing. Where are we going to get a pair of... I want red high heels. Where are we going to get them? Just happened that we're in Vegas.
What size feet are you?
Well, I'm actually like nearly a 12, so they went and got me 13 size red. But we're in Vegas, so it was okay. It all worked out nice. And that was probably my favourite thing I've ever done in the entire time I've been in wrestling. Yeah. And that, people will go, oh, you know, because I'm supposed to be the wrestling fella. That actual, doing that was the most fun I ever had, because there's a lot of the comedy heroes that I've sort of based my act on over the years. I got to do little bits of them in the whole thing, and so I had a ball doing it, you know.
I hope you went down the strip afterwards for a few afterwards and just enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
I know that's something you've always been really good at throughout your career, is kind of changing it up and doing different things, and that's something I've always tried to do too. And you know, if it's involving a character change or a costume change or a name change or whatever it is. And I know since you came back recently, you kind of had almost a character reboot, and then kind of did things a little differently, coming after the smaller internet-based guys and stuff like that, which I thought was pretty cool. What was the inspiration behind doing that? Where did you get that from?
I think it's important to change, like you said. Like, you know, we all started off in different roles when we first started the company. Like, you know, when I first came in, William was the one who took me under his wing, and we traveled together all the time. Just after every show, every match, Regal put me aside and he'd be like, give me some feedback and try and help me. So, but like when I first came in, I was raw, like no logos, no nothing, just the hair, just a different type of look, just so like different to everybody else. And that I'm with that for a while, and then I knew that kind of slowed down, and the King of the Ring thing came up, and I had that great outfit. Which, in fairness though, is still one of the best Mattel action figures, and I told you about that.
I'm sure,
well.
absolutely.
Yes, I've seen that one.
People love that stuff.
People love it.
And that's the thing, you know, here's a little tip, anybody watching this will continue with. All of us, you're different because you are, you know, you have a unique look, but you still got to reinvent yourself, and we're sort of normal-looking people. Every year you've got to... oh, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you. Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Every year you've got to reinvent yourself, even if it's just a change of boots and trunks, so you can get a different action figure. Because if you don't, a lot of people don't think like that. And I've thought, nobody's ever going to buy one of me.
Yeah.
But whoever their hero is at the time, if I pull enough faces to the children and they don't like me, because that's what I do. I always remember what I liked as a child when I used to go to wrestling. I didn't know about technical wrestlers or who was good or who was bad. I just knew what I liked when I was a little child. And I knew the people who pulled faces made me scream at them. So that was always my act, right? I'd go out there, I'd make sure I pulled a lot of faces to make the kids scream, and then the mums would be happy because the kids are having a good time. And so if they're going to buy a bad guy, for the good guy to beat up me, right? Smash me up. And that was like the mindset. But there's only so much you can do because I'm just normal. So change your boots, change your trunks, change your robe, whatever else. And we've all sort of done that. And you're the one who don't have to do it probably more than anybody, but you still do because it's a smart thing to do.
You just can't rely on what you have, and sometimes you need to change, even for yourself. Like, sometimes it feels like when you think about live events and you think about TV, you do literally see yourself in that light all the time, even if the people at home or the fans watching, like they see you on Monday and...
Is this fish cooked? It seems to have ate all the potatoes.
I got some spuds. Want some spuds?
No, you're right. No, honestly, keep on.
Go on there. Go on.
Don't want your cast-offs.
There you go. Thanks. Are you all right? Looks like a shield.
So talking about changes, obviously your career has taken a drastic turn over the last few years, and you're now, most of what you do is
You're basically saying I'm washed up, right?
I'm not saying that at all, of course not. But like, what exactly are you doing these days? What's your kind of roles?
Thanks for waiting until I got a mouthful of food to start that. Well, I work in the talent scouting and development, which I suppose in a way I've always done, you know, in one way.
Sure, we can vouch for that.
That's when I've always tried to help everybody, because, I mean that with all sincerity, without great people helping me, I would never be here. And I've never taken that for granted, and I've always tried to help anybody who wants to help. And whatever else needs coming up, I'm still, obviously I'm NXT general manager, and I work very closely with that show and with Triple H doing that kind of stuff, and just basically just being me and being over. Because when you're over, you're over.
So I was in Irish Whip Wrestling, and they had that Whiplash TV show that was on the Wrestling Channel. Then I was green as grass. I didn't know what I was doing. They're trying to learn on the fly, trying to learn with people. Craving to get in the ring of guys who had more experience than I had. So I went over to a show for Celtic Pro Wrestling. Is that what it was? I remember walking in the locker room.
Wales.
In Wales. I remember, you know, I've seen a lot of the guys who are on it. A lot of them are small guys, you know, who are doing it, like, a lot smaller than me. I walked in the locker room, I saw this giant walk in there. I was just like, couldn't believe it. Like, you know, I couldn't believe the size of him. So
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. So he walks in, I was starting chatting to him, you know, and I got Simon Rochford's guy from Irish Whip Wrestling. I told Simon about him, and then, because Drew had already been there, and so Wade came over to Irish Whip Wrestling, and that was it. Then we all three of us kind of, you know.
Well, I remember seeing you fellas, because when I was in England, like, I was a giant. Me and Dave Taylor were the two big fellas, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like this, because most people are 5'10", right? And then this super breed of, seems to be a generation gap where there's all these big fellas in England now, like yourselves, that you, you never saw people like that, you know, and it was like, where did these two come from?
Yeah, well, it was, I think, me, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre as well. The three of us kind of bonded together over there. We were constantly wrestling each other on the various tours, and yeah, we really stood out. And I remember Sheamus always saying that he knew all three of us were going to get hired by WWE one day, and I didn't have the same level of faith as him. I kind of thought that maybe they're going to take one of us, just because historically we didn't tend to have too many Brits or Irish people there at the same time. There was only really space for one, at most two, you know.
And
so
that's what I always say. Like, I know I did a lot of Be a Star stuff, and, like, you know, obviously from my own background, I've suffered a lot of that. If you guys have seen True Detective Season 2, Colin Farrell's son is a round ginger. That's what I look like as a kid. But so Be a Star was very important to me. But it's like, I try to tell all the kids, like, you know, if you want to do something, if you want to achieve something, don't let anyone say you can't do that. believe in yourself and you can achieve it. But you see some of these people who are like, they make excuses not to try, not to make an effort, not to take a chance, and then it's like it's everyone else's fault.
Everybody
For the guys who made it, like,
yeah.
oh well, you know, I can't stand them, or like he's such and such, he's you know, he's a piece of crap, because they know like they took the chance, he didn't, you know. So it's like, well, the only way I make myself feel better if I bring him down and I bring, you know, everyone else down. But anyway, we're talking about Irish, we're talking about wrestling.
Yeah.
I think Wade's got a new gimmick after the King, which is the shoveler.
Oh no, not the shoveler. Oh god, what a story.
So pray tell, what is the shoveler?
Okay, so I don't even tell this story. I don't know. You tell the story. Let me see, and I will correct you when you talk nonsense.
So Wade, obviously, you know, he's a 6'6", like jacked up dude, like in England, which is, like I said, very rare. So Brian Dixon, obviously, seeing Wade like dollar signs, pound signs going off, because, you know, like,
we just need to explain for anybody listening that Brian Dixon is a famous promoter in England who we've all worked for. So it's back to the story.
Certainly, yeah.
So the shoveler.
Well, go ahead, tell the shoveler story, and I will correct you when you make everything up.
Wade is supposed to make a run, and he already wrestled earlier on. But you're supposed to come in with a
with a weapon.
With a weapon.
And the weapon that I can't remember who gave me the weapon, but we had to look around the building to try and find a weapon because we didn't bring weapons with us. And I think Brian Dixon came up with the weapon. It was a shovel. It was the, you know, just a giant spade.
So Wade comes running into the rig, flying with a giant spade, wheeling it around his head. Yeah. Roddy Steele's looking at him. James Mason looking at the whole crowd like, just like.
So Triple H has a sledgehammer, I've got a shovel.
You've got a shovel.
That's going to be my.
It would have been better than a
choice.
potting trowel. You could have come in with one of them.
It probably would have been more effective, to be fair.
Yeah, it's funny enough, we don't travel around with weapons in our suitcase.
Well, you did for a while, actually. I remember you taking an axe on the road at one point.
That's right.
I think
double-headed axe.
The TSA had a word with you, and we had to leave that at home.
Right, here's a tale. So when I was doing the brass knuckles thing, the knuckle duster thing, when I was here, right? So obviously I can't carry knuckle dusters. So I've got these really hard rubber ones that I just, for public, whatever I needed them for, that I could carry on the plane in case I ever needed to take pictures. Because I'm always thinking, right, you never know when you're doing the character, you got to have it all the time. And I'd left them in my carry-on with my wrestling gear. And my bag's going through. Next thing, alarms all go off. Atlanta Airport shut down. The police are out, guns out, everything. What's going on? I'm just stood there oblivious. I got no idea it's about me. Open my bag up. Fella's open the bag up, pulls out on a stick the brass knuckles like that, the rubber brass knuckles. It's a weapon, right? You can't take a weapon on a plane. This was right after it, so it was all serious stuff. So I'm trying to explain myself. Now, you know, and there's all these businessmen behind me and all people just staring now, and I'm purple. I'm so embarrassed. And I'm going, yeah, these ones, and I have to, you know, and I just wanted to just ground open up and swallow me, you know what I mean? Just crawl up my own backside. I'm so embarrassed. Next thing, two of the security guards come over and recognised me. They went, hey, Regal. And they took the things off like that, and they put them on, and they're going, ah! And they're like pretending to wrestle each other and hit each other with these. And I'm, oh, please, just put them back in the bag, for God's sake. And I've got all these businessmen just looking at me like, it's pathetic, man. And so they stuck them on. And so that was the end of me carrying any weapons with me.
So I went, first show with Dixon. Very excited to be there. I've been emailing him forever, trying to get over. Finally got on. I'm in there with a guy called Mikey Whiplash. We won the match. So we're late. There was like 2,000 people, kids and parents in the ring. So they're like, oh, say something to the crowd there, Sheamus. I was like, yeah. All G'd up. Took the mic, went to op-ed how great we were, how we're going to win this tournament, and how everybody in the crowd were a bunch of twats. Right away.
I can imagine.
Apparently Brian Dixon was nearly having a heart attack. I was like, yeah, did you get a reaction from the crowd? They hated me. Walked back. Actually, as I said it, turned around, Mikey Whiplash's face is like this. I get back to the back, all the boys are laughing, including Robbie, and Robbie's all like, all right, and he goes, you know what you said? And I said, yeah, I said twat. He goes, do you know what that means? I said, hey, where I come from, it means idiot. He goes, it doesn't mean that here.
It doesn't mean that in England.
And I was like,
I don't think it means that in the USA either.
No, it doesn't.
Let's move on pretty rapidly from that
story's well gone.
Obviously, myself and Sheamus grew up huge wrestling fans, and we were watching everything we could growing up. And we spoke about this before. We were both massive fans of the real man's man
I'm sure you were.
Yes, as I think everybody who's ever witnessed it. So give us a little just backstory on how that even came about. Because
well, The only good thing about that whole episode is I can't remember it. I'd gone off the rails. So I get let go from WCW in February of '98. And straight away, WWE are on the phone. Can you come here? Because they didn't realise that I'd gone off the rails. And so they brought me in. So I get here and they realise I'm in no fit state for anything. So they send me to do some training, and at the end of that, I broke my leg and my ankle. So I get a call one day from Vince. We've got an idea for you. We're going to make you this man's man thing. You know, it's the exact opposite of what you've always done, and you're going to be this, like, manly fella. And he said, but you know, you English are, you're not, you're all a bit strange, aren't you? And I went, what do you mean a bit strange? He said, you're all a bit strange. He said, you're all a bit weird. I went, well, whatever, yeah. Probably people could say I was weird. So I get to TVs, I turn up, I'm still not in any kind of shape. This is the idea, you're going to go out in the woods chopping all this stuff and do this kind of stuff. So I did it. There's not a lot for me to tell because you'd have to watch it, because I was still in the depths of my abuse problems at the time. It lasted 5 weeks. I had a 30-year solid wrestling career in 40 countries, and I've been pretty, you know, successful at lots of things. That 5 weeks has defined my entire career, and people still sing that song to me every day, and I am not making this up. Every time I call the office and they put me on hold, that's playing on that thing down the phone, right? People still hum that music, they always ask about it, and I can't remember any of it, as silly as that sounds. I was only here 5 weeks, and then they realised I had a problem, and they shipped me away, and I went to the nut house for a while, and I came out, and I've been right ever since.
You know, I remember actually, you may have been there when we were in the UK for, I think, maybe a SmackDown or a Raw. It was before Raw. I think you wrestled one of your last matches, and it was against Daniel Bryan. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And as he walks out, they played the...
I remember that.
Halfway down the ramp, your music stopped.
Music,
And
the man's thing.
Yeah, it was brilliant. A big smile on your face, too. It was great. It was a great night.
If you take yourself too seriously, you've got no chance in this job. You cannot take yourself seriously. You've got to embrace whatever's given and make the most of every opportunity to make it funny or to make it memorable, or just, that's it. And it's all about memories. 1 out of 100 people comes up and say, you're the wrestling fella. You're the fella that can do all that really cool wrestling. Or that really... No, it's, you're the fella that made me laugh doing that, or you did that, or you put... Oh, God, I hated you when I was a kid because you used to make me... I go, thank you very much, because that's what I've tried to do. Right? The wrestling is just a byproduct of me learning a certain style of stuff.
You're right, it's all a bit of crack. You gotta have the fun, you gotta enjoy yourself. You're already running out there in little knick-knicks and knee pads.
Especially when you look like a badly made bed like me. What are you going to do? You know, I've got a pair of trunks on up to me, under my armpits. What are you going to do? Go and, like, try and be a hero to people. You've got to go out and just make people enjoy the time and have a memorable night out and have a good time and make little bits of movies, right? Dusty used to say that. It's all about making moments and movies, right? Yeah. And you make moments and you have a body of work at the end of the day that you can look back on. You probably won't be watching too many of the... It'll be all the good stuff you've done, and it'll be a lot of really good matches or really good entertainment bits.
Well, I think if you look at the stuff that highlights on Raw and they do, or SmackDown, the WWE highlight, all the highlighted moments, none of them are really wrestler moves. It's all like moments of Austin coming in at the beer truck. You know, the Tyson thing. Yes. You know what I mean? Even the Kurt Angle stuff with the milk flow and the "You Suck"
He's a perfect example. There's Kurt and Steve Austin, right? Two serious fellas, right?
Yeah.
So comfortable with themselves, they're happy to do anything. Yeah. That's the key to it. When you're happy and comfortable with yourself and you're not worried about trying to be a tough guy, you'll make the most out of anything and make it work. And that's a perfect example of it.
All right, guys, thank you very much. I can see the waitress is waving over now. I think she's probably got somebody else waiting for this table, so let's call it a night. Have you got the check on this?
I always get the check.
Send the check to Mick Foley.
Mick Foley. Yeah. Check Mick Foley.
He's plenty of money. He'll be able to look after. Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Always good catching up.
Thank you. Compliments to the chef as well.
I enjoyed mine at least.
Yeah, I'm going to say that.
Gentlemen, welcome to the table for three.
Hello.
I think we've been put together because we're all kings of the ring or former kings of the ring, so I don't know, let's talk about our experiences as the king of the ring. We'll start off with you, Sheamus. I know you had a particularly glorious run as the king of the ring. You've been a real hot streak,
it was one of the highlights of my career. When I was sitting there in the chair after winning that, illustrious tournament with a Burger King crown on my lap and a giant red cape.
Now, I think.
Looked like something out of the Bedknobs and Broomsticks or something from Disney. I decided right there and then I was literally going to change this outfit. I knew it was going to be a great opportunity to do something different. So I got this really cool crown. It looked like something out of Lord of the Rings, and I got this emerald green cape and the blackthorn walking stick. I made it my own, you know, just like you are as the Cosmic King.
Just out of curiosity, what point did you realise that outfit you came up